Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here on Firstpost America. I'm Eric Hammond. We're live in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. And over the next few minutes, we'll take you from the United States and around the world, covering all the top stories of the day. But first, we begin with the latest headlines. France, Germany, Italy, and the United Kingdom hail Ukraine's decision to agree to a 30-day ceasefire put forward by the Trump administration. Washington also lifts the freeze on military aid after the positive response from Ukraine. Greenland's center-right opposition party, which favors independence from Denmark, wins the parliamentary election. The winning party says Greenland is not for sale in a message to President Donald Trump, who is eyeing control of the island. Angola offers to broker a truce between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. The rebels confirm their participation, while the Democratic Republic of Congo says it has taken note of the initiative. A bomb attack in southwestern Colombia kills at least 5 soldiers. Left-wing guerrilla groups claim responsibility for the attack just days after they kidnapped and released almost 30 Colombian troops after negotiations with the government. And Mexico launches a federal investigation after finding a mass grave in the western Jalisco state. Authorities say the mass grave is linked to violent actions carried out by drug cartels. We began at the White House, where President Donald Trump has doubled down on imposing more tariffs on America's closest ally and trading partner, Canada. The Commander-in-Chief called Canada a tariff abuser after the province of Ottawa imposed an electricity surcharge on 3 U.S. states. The president said the United States would stop subsidizing Canada over the electricity surcharge, forcing Ottawa to freeze its plan to charge extra for exporting electricity.
Look, we've been treated very unfairly by Canada. We've been treated very unfairly by Mexico. But we've been treated very unfairly by every country all over the world. The right thing to do is what we're doing. We're going to get our jobs back, and we're not going to be left at. Now, I will say this, that already Canada, and I respect very much, as you know, there's a very strong man in Canada who said he was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country. He has called and he said he's not going to do that.
Meanwhile, the White House went after India and Japan and slammed the two countries for their high tariffs on American goods.
You look at India, 150% tariff on American alcohol. You think that's helping Kentucky bourbon be exported into India? I don't think so. 100% tariff on agricultural products from India. President Trump believes in reciprocity, and it is about dang time that we have a president who actually looks out for the interests of American businesses and workers.
Now, when asked about the negative impacts Trump's trade war was having on the economy, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt got into a heated argument with journalists. Leavitt sparred with a reporter from the Associated Press over questions about tariffs on imports and how they raise costs for Americans.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have. They don't get charged on foreign companies, they get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made.
Now, New Delhi has repeatedly said that it's willing to work with the Trump administration to reduce any trade barriers in an effort to boost India-U.S. relations even further.
Our objective through the BTA is to strengthen and deepen India-U.S. two-way trade across goods and services, increase market access, reduce tariff and non-tariff barriers, and deepen supply chain integration between the two countries. So that is how we look at the issue of tariff as far as India-U.S. is concerned.
Now, President Trump has already pushed away America's closest ally, Canada, with an on-again, off-again tariff battle. Now it remains to be seen whether he's also willing to risk straining ties with India and Japan as well if the two nations continue to impose restrictions on American goods. Elon Musk isn't just the world's richest man. He's also a powerhouse. And when you're friends with the president, that power multiplies. Yesterday, the friendship took center stage at the White House, and President Trump, who was once a fierce critic of electric cars, showed support for Tesla by buying a shiny red Model S. With the automotive company's stock plummeting and the anti-Musk protests erupting, the commander-in-chief stepped in, labeling vandalizers as domestic terrorists. Calling Musk a patriot, the president made clear this was more than just a car purchase. Here's more from the White House.
Elon Musk isn't just the richest man, he comes with power too. Being buddies with the president has its perks. Yes! And on Tuesday, that friendship played out in a striking display.
That's beautiful.
Walking down the White House driveway, the commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, his billionaire buddy and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, along with his son X, glanced at a hot red Tesla car, calling it, "It's good, wow."
Wow.
And because nothing is ordinary in Trump's world, just minutes later, the president purchased the Tesla in front of the press. His only goal, damage control.
Hello, President Trump. Are you looking to buy or lease today?
Well, I'm going to buy. And I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. And I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people.
Tesla has been under fire lately, and Musk's involvement in Trump's administration has sparked outrage. Protesters have targeted Tesla stores, demanding Musk step away from politics. However, Trump has Musk's back, and the president announced that anyone who would target Tesla outlets would be deemed a domestic terrorist.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. You know, I've stuck up for the NFL. I've stuck up for a lot of American companies and other companies, but American companies.
Now, shares of Tesla have plunged 50% since December. But Musk had nothing to worry about because on Tuesday, the billionaire had a powerful ally by his side. And like a brand ambassador no one expected, Trump hosted an exclusive Tesla car show at the White House. But of course, the bright red car stood out for the president and information no one thought they needed. Trump declared he was buying the model with no discounts.
He has never asked me for a favor. He didn't ask me for this. I said, you know, Elon, I don't like what's happening to you, and Tesla's a great company. I don't like what's happening. It's, from our standpoint, American cars, American made. He employs thousands of people.
However, Trump's enthusiasm for Tesla was a stark contrast to his past remarks. He has criticized electric cars for years. On Christmas Day in 2023, he even posted that EVs should rot in hell. But yesterday, none of that mattered. While Trump won't be behind the wheel, he said he plans to keep the car at the White House and let his staff use it.
I'm not allowed to drive because I haven't driven a car in a long time, and I love to drive cars. But I'm going to have it at the White House, and I'm going to let my staff use it.
It was evident that the purchase wasn't just about buying a car, it was about showing loyalty. And Musk has been one of Trump's biggest backers. He recently pledged $100 million to Trump's political operation. He is also leading Trump's plan to shrink the federal workforce. That has made him a controversial figure. And mind you, the backlash has been intense. Protesters have gathered outside Tesla stores, chanting slogans and turning violent. Calling his buddy patriot and praising his work,
because he's a patriot. He's an incredible patriot.
Musk and Trump stood together. They looked like two men with a plan. Trump was buying a car, but was he also buying something else? Was it a deeper alliance or a political partnership?
And now moving to the Middle East, where tensions between the United States and Iran has escalated once again. Just days after President Donald Trump expressed his desire for a deal with Tehran, Iranian leader Masoud Pezeshkian rejected any negotiations, telling the commander-in-chief, quote-unquote, do whatever the hell you want. Pezeshkian made clear that Tehran will not take orders from Washington.
It's not acceptable for them to say, we're ordering you not to do this, and not to do that, or we'll do this. If that's the case, I'm not coming to negotiate with you at all. Go and do whatever the damn thing you want. We need to have a relationship with the world. We don't want to break off with anyone. We don't want to fight with anyone. But we're not supposed to bow off in humiliation to anyone.
The Iranian leader's remarks come in response to President Donald Trump's recent outreach, which included a letter addressed to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, urging engagement on nuclear negotiations. However, the move did not sit well with the Iranian leadership. Addressing the matter last Saturday, Iran's Supreme Leader made it be bullied into talks.
Some bullying governments insist on negotiation, but their negotiation is not aimed at resolving issues, it's for domination. The issue isn't just the nuclear issue that they're talking about now. They'll raise new demands, and these new demands will certainly not be met by Iran regarding the country's defensive capabilities, regarding the country's international influence.
Now, while the commander-in-chief presents himself as open to a deal, he has simultaneously reinstated the maximum pressure campaign. And the strategy aimed at isolating Iran economically includes harsh sanctions by bringing its oil exports to a complete standstill. In response, Iran has significantly accelerated its nuclear activities, warning that it is now enriching uranium up to 60% purity. And even though Iran maintains that it's peaceful purposes, Western powers remain skeptical.
What is important is that regional countries make decisions based on their national interests and the good relations they have with the Islamic Republic of Iran, and that they do not allow the illegal and bullying pressures of the US to negatively impact their relations with the Iranian people or to sow discord and division in the region.
And now, with President Donald Trump once again in office, the US is signaling a two-pronged approach: negotiation or military action. But despite Washington's attempts to force Tehran back to the negotiating table, the Islamic regime remains defiant.
If they threaten us, we will threaten them. If they act on their threats, we will act on ours. Negotiating with such administration should not be done. It is neither rational, nor wise, nor honorable. Americans are sitting and redrawing the world map on paper. But it is only on paper, it has no reality.
And with both sides holding firm, the situation teeters on the edge. Will diplomacy prevail, or is the region headed toward another phase of conflict? President Donald Trump has only been in office less than 3 months, and his administration is already dealing with a list of diplomatic faux pas. The most latest incident is the deportation of a senior Pakistani diplomat from the United States. KK Wagan, the Pakistani ambassador to Turkmenistan, was denied entry into Los Angeles and was then deported by immigration authorities. Several Pakistani media agencies confirmed the deportation, which reportedly occurred due to an objection over the diplomat's migration status. Though the diplomat had a valid U.S. visa, he was traveling to Los Angeles for private reasons, raising suspicion among officials. Pakistan has reached out to the State Department for clarity about the incident. However, the deportation has soured relations between Washington and Islamabad, as President Trump looks to impose a new travel ban on Pakistan next week.
जी बिल्कुल, ये खबर सुनने में आई है कि पाकिस्तानियों के ऊपर यूएस में एंट्री का बैन लगने वाला है, जो कि मेरे हिसाब से बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट होगा और बहुत स्ट्रेंज होगा, बिकॉज पाकिस्तानी अवाम भी और पाकिस्तानी गवर्नमेंट लेवल के ऊपर भी यूएस को हमेशा अपना सपोर्टर, अपना एलाई मानते हुए आए हैं और हमेशा यूएस की सपोर्ट की है।
मैं ये नहीं समझता कि जो पाकिस्तान के साथ रवैया है अमेरिका का, वो मेरे ख्याल में चेंज होना चाहिए और पाकिस्तानी शहरियों के लिए तो तमाम तर जितनी भी सहूलियात हैं वो इन्हें ज़्यादा करनी चाहिए, ना कि उन्हें बंद करनी चाहिए।
For decades, Pakistan has played a key role in America's war on terror, as the country was used for anti-terror operations in neighboring Afghanistan. However, relations turned frosty after Osama bin Laden, the world's most wanted terrorist and mastermind of 9/11, was killed in a daring raid in Pakistan in 2011. Bin Laden was found living next to a highly militarized compound of the Pakistan Army, which left Washington fuming. Since then, the United States has reconsidered its ties with Pakistan and heavily tilted towards India, which it now sees as a more stable and trusted democratic ally. However, the latest travel ban by President Trump has Pakistanis furious. In fact, they're accusing the U.S. of waging war using Pakistan's soil without giving any compensations.
उन लोगों ने वादा किया था कि हम एट द एंड ये हैप्पी एंडिंग होगी, इस तरह एंडिंग नहीं होगी जो अभी बन रही है। तो होना ये चाहिए, अगर बैन लगानी भी है उन लोगों के ऊपर ना लगाए जो वल्नरेबल है, जो मदद के मुस्तहक है, जिनको यूएस का साथ चाहिए। अगर ये उन लोगों की भी यहाँ बैन करेगा तो ये जो पार्टनरशिप है, जो एलाइज वाला सिस्टम है ना, वो इनसे मुतासर हो जाएगी।
पाकिस्तानी रियासत को चाहिए कि वो पाकिस्तान के अंदर ऐसे मौके पैदा करे कि हमें अमेरिका की तरफ देखने की ज़रूरत भी ना पड़े, कुछ ऐसे ऑप्शन भी पैदा करे कि हम दुनिया में दीगर मुल्कों की जानिब भी देख सकें, क्योंकि हमारा पूरा निर्भर या पूरा एनएसआर अमेरिका की तरफ है। तो इसलिए वो भी ये समझता है कि हम पाबंदी लगाएंगे तो हमें किसी भी किस्म का कोई भी रेजिस्टेंस देखने को नहीं मिलेगा, मज़ाहमत देखने को नहीं मिलेगी।
After the deportation of a seasoned Pakistani diplomat and a new travel ban on Pakistanis, the Trump administration seems to be in no mood to improve relations with a country that was once considered America's closest non-NATO ally in Asia. And we end today with the great smartwatch breakup. Once the ultimate flex, smartwatches are now losing their grip, both literally and figuratively. With global sales dropping for the first time ever, even Apple is unable to keep up with the times. So what's causing the slump in smartwatch sales? Is it feature fatigue, notification overload, or just the irresistible charm of a classic analog watch? Our next report dives in.
It wasn't too long ago that smartwatches were the ultimate flex. Shiny little wrist robots tracking our every move, nagging us to breathe and stand up, and making sure we never ghosted a notification. But, like every tech trend that burns too bright, the smartwatch market has finally hit a speed bump. According to new data from Counterpoint, global smartwatch sales fell by 7% in 2024. And guess who's leading the slump? The mighty Apple. With a 19% drop in shipments, Apple Watches took a major hit. By the end of 2024, the tech giant's market share shrank to 22% from 25% the previous year. Experts say in North America, customers apparently decided that last year's Apple Watch wasn't good enough. Plus a pesky import ban in the US over a blood oxygen monitoring patent dispute didn't help Apple's numbers. While Apple and other big players were busy watching their numbers drop, Chinese brands like Xiaomi, Huawei, and iMu were out there minting moolah. Sales of Chinese-made smartwatches surged. Their market share grew from 19% to 25% by late 2023, overtaking both India and North America for the first time. And guess who's wearing these watches? Children. Turns out, the only segment of the smartwatch market that actually grew in 2024 was children's smartwatches. Parents, forever paranoid about their little ones vanishing into the abyss of the playground, fueled a 22% increase for iMu. These watches are essentially a digital leash with a cute interface. But even iMu couldn't match Xiaomi's rise. The brand saw a jaw-dropping 135% increase in shipments, thanks to its ultra-affordable smart bands. While Apple and Samsung were busy chasing high margins, Xiaomi was happily winning over budget-conscious customers, especially in regions like Southern and Eastern Europe. India, once the golden goose of the smartwatch market, saw its share drop from 30% to 23%. The reason? A flood of ultra-cheap, low-quality devices that left customers unimpressed. After months of dealing with glitchy step counters and sleep trackers, Indian consumers seem to have had enough. While numbers paint a clear picture,
Let's talk about the real reasons why are people ghosting smartwatches. Smartwatches demand constant attention. Right from plugging them in every night to updating and upgrading the device, many users are simply over it. For many, smartwatches became tiny dictators strapped to their wrists. Every buzz, ping, and nudge was another interruption. So why not just ignore the middleman and stick to our phones instead? Waking up to an AI-generated analysis of how you slept and moved sounds great, until you realize you are starting every morning by questioning your own existence. Many former smartwatch lovers are now relishing the freedom of not obsessing over whether their heart rate variability meets some arbitrary metric. Meanwhile, many are embracing the timeless charm of analog watches. Devices that only tell time and demand nothing in return. No nagging notifications, no battery anxiety, just a classic accessory that won't judge your step count. Maybe, just maybe, simplicity is making a comeback.
That's Firstpost America for this Wednesday. I'm Eric Ham signing off from our studios here in Washington, D.C. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in.